My name is Kristovan Christiansen, and I'm undeclared in my major, and I did my service learning at Jackson Elementary, first grade. So when I first got to Jackson, I recognized that there were so many different types of kids there, different backgrounds, different socioeconomic situations, and I feel like each of them has a different story. They all are so different, and I feel like in noticing their differences, I've been able to identify where I stand in all this, and I related it to my my experience in elementary school and how I had no idea where I stood in that sort of situation. But talking to some of these kids there is really amazing because they know where they are and they know a lot more than I did.
I walk into this first grade classroom and all the kids they're really excited to see me, even though they didn't quite understand what I was there for. All of them were really receptive and they were all really welcoming, and they automatically accepted me as their mentor, and they all wanted to talk to me and be my friend and give me hugs. And well, I got to know a bunch of the kids on the first day. They were all really different, it was a really diverse classroom.
My name is Leroy Brandon. I go to the University of Utah. I'm currently majoring in computer science because I want to make video games. And I'm currently doing my community service learning project at Bryant Middle School. I remember the very first time I walked into Bryant Middle School, the very first thing I noticed, first of all, some people complimented my socks, so I already knew this is going to be a good place. Second of all, right when I walked in there, I noticed how diverse it was. It wasn't like University of Utah where there's not a lot of people of color here. There's none at all. But when I walked into Bryant Middle School, I noticed that there's people of all races, Polynesian kids, Asian Americans, African Americans. It was a nice feeling. So let me explain my middle school experience really quick. Okay, so my middle school, it was diverse as well, but we kind of it was a stereotypical middle school in terms of cliques and groups and such. In the classroom, you always had the cool kids, and you always had the nerds and the music people and so, and pretty much the only people that would participate in class is the nerds, pretty much. Oh, teacher, I know this question. And so the cool kids, too cool to raise their hand. You know those cool kids, you know. But when I got to Bryant Middle School, it was everybody was enthused. Everybody wanted to chime in for a question. Ooh, I know the answer too. Nobody was afraid to I guess express their intelligence, or so to speak, versus in my middle school, everybody was kind of too shy to answer the question because you might get called a nerd, or maybe you just don't feel like wanting all that attention. But when I got to Bryant Middle School, everybody's just so energetic, and I like it. And it made me question, I guess, my identity, my personality, or so to speak. My experience at Bryant Middle School has allowed me to think about my personality and the way I communicate with others. For example, I often find myself speaking differently when I'm around my African American friends versus when I'm with my other friends. And I kind of I don't really understand, but I just tend to do that a lot. I don't really know why. Why am I afraid to truly act who I am, be me? But when I go to Bryant Middle School, literally everybody, and I kid you not, everybody in the classroom was "Oh, I know this question, I know that, let me try. Whoa, math is fun." And I was just what? But everybody's so enthused, everybody's having a good time, and nobody's afraid to speak out when they know something. Nobody's afraid to be that guy, or be that person who knows all the answers, because everybody wants to act that way. That kind of question, why am I afraid to do that? Why, in fact, why are we all afraid to do that? Why do we when we know the answer to something, why do we just sit down and let there be awkward silence in the classroom instead of speaking out, say, hey, I know the answer? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why, if these 8th graders have the confidence to speak out and be themselves, then why are we afraid to be ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Overall, I would say my time at Bryant Middle School was really interesting. It was funny. There's always one, this kind of off topic just a little bit. There's always, every single time I go in there, there's always this one girl, this one 8th grader who always has something to say about my socks. And I literally base how good my socks are off of her. It's the funniest thing in the world. Every time her arms go in the air for my socks, I know I did right. But anyways, I quite enjoyed my time at Bryant Middle School. Everybody's fun, everybody's live. It's not like, oh, dull and stuff. Everybody's so enthused. And it's just, I don't understand why they're so happy that they're in school, but they're just really enthusiastic, and I really enjoy that because I'm a hyper person as well. And they're like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah. It's getting more intense as I look to stare this child down. It's really funny, and I really enjoy my time at Bryant Middle School.